everybody. It's us. 184 days teaching truths. I'm Carrie.
I'm Christy. And we have some guests today, ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited that our friends Eileen, who is an administrator, and Emily, who's a second grade teacher, have joined us today for our very special topics.
Oh, which are when teachers disagree and health effects. So stay here for this entire hour and be ready to be wowed and informed. But first, we got to laugh. We have a rule. We have to laugh first.
We always have to laugh because in teaching, funny things happen. And if we can't share them and enjoy the fun, then we're just not complete. So, all right. Is it my turn first?
Well, yeah, because we're doing health effects, we thought we would share some funnies from the health office, and we're going to try to limit the gross. Okay?
There's no doubt that the health office has its own fair share of fun stories. And so one of our viewers who also works in a school health office dared to share. And so she says the following. A student came to the health office stating she had a hole in her leggings. And I asked her where, and she pointed to her crotch. She did not have any clothes to change into. I called mom to say, hey, you know what? She needs a change of clothes. And she said, absolutely. She could not come. And that, the health nurse was able to give her a long shirt. And the mom goes, oh, good. That's great. No problem. So about an hour goes by and the same student comes up to the health office again. And what happens is this time that hole isn't small. It's down to her knees and it's all the way up the pants. And when the health office aide asked, what happened? The little girl goes, I didn't really know, but there was a string and I pulled it. And the nurse said, I think a lot more than that happened, sweetie. But we got to call your mom now for sure because your pants are not able to be worn for the rest of the day. So, of course, she calls mom. Mom's like, so is she wearing underwear? And the nurse aide was like, I can't believe that just A, happened, and B, I have to have a straight face on this one. So once she pops her eyes back into her head, she asked the little girl, hey, are you wearing underwear? And the little girl didn't answer. She just gave her this really interesting face. And so she had to tell the mother, no, that her daughter was not wearing undies. And that her body needs to be covered again. So unfortunately, evidently Commando is a new style. And she was absolutely floored that this little girl had decided to rip her pants without anything on underneath.
What grade was this child? Curiosity.
It was not divulged, but I believe it was third. I could be wrong. It could be third or fourth, but it was very crafty. You kind of wonder sometimes how hard are children willing to work to get out of class?
To get out
Evidently,
of school.
they're willing to rip their clothes all the way.
Now, were there no extra underpants in the health office at that time?
So we do not have extra clothes in the health office, or at least this person did not have.
At the time.
Right. I mean, I know that in our health office, they don't have extra clothes. Mm-hmm. I don't know about this scenario, but.
I know this is supposed to be a funny, but why are schools supposed to provide undergarments for children?
Okay, I have actually donated my previous school. I did donate brand new packages of underwear in a variety of sizes because they had this issue and it was hard for parents to leave work and come to school and deal with their child. And as we know, accidents happen, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So I did donate, but you're right. But then what do you do in that situation? Yeah. So anyway, parents, send your kids to school with extra clothes in their backpack, no matter their age. And also maybe teachers, you just never know what could happen to you either.
And if you know your child likes to go commando, provide the health office with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
just a win-win for everybody.
For everyone.
Yeah.
For everyone. Then there's no embarrassment for the poor nurse or health aide who has to deal with that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not leaving work telling your boss, my kid has no underwear, I need to go now.
Maybe that's
a great
funny.
conversation.
It's an underwear emergency.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay.
911.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I was gonna well, a sidebar anyway. So the wet paper towel trick, does anybody know the cold, wet, magical paper towel trick? Well, I was banging on the table again. Sorry. Okay. So anyway,
Cold, wet.
don't you know it heals everything?
I do know
Oh.
that.
Yes.
Okay, every first grade
yes,
teacher
yes.
knows the cold, wet paper
Yes.
towel trick.
Headache, cold, wet paper towel.
Oh, did you get a paper cut that's not bleeding and nothing's wrong? Cold paper towel.
Yeah. Did you get your feelings hurt? Cold, wet paper towel. It works in middle school too. Somebody got their feelings hurt and they really need to go down to the bathroom and take some time and come back with a cold, wet paper towel. Things were much better. I said, bring me back one too, because I'm feeling a little stressed out.
'Cause I need-
I need to just lay here for a minute. So yeah, fun facts from the health office in schools. We need underwear and cold, wet paper towels. Okay. All right. So
Love
we're gonna move into. Are we ready to move on? Can we move on to our topic?
Well, can we stop there for just a second?
Okay.
Let's have just a little bit more of a conversation about cold, wet paper towels, because we are not talking about like Bounty, right? We're not talking about the quicker picker.
It's true.
We're talking about
These are not nice.
government rationed paper towels.
They're brown, people. They're brown. They're light brown.
It's
the cardboard.
Yes.
it's the
They are, right?
cardboard
It's
of
the
paper
recycled
towels.
cardboard paper towel.
And you just
They're
get that
rough.
thing wet and you fold it up just like this and you
Here,
just lay there.
Here,
Those
let
might
us-
even be
Yes,
softer.
let's have one.
Look,
Yes, right there.
it's about as crisp
Mhm.
and tough.
Yeah.
It doesn't suck up water well. In fact, if you try to wipe
that.
up a mess with it, it just slides.
It
You
just
need one for
slides.
the back of your neck after like pee or something. It's been
Right.
hot out there.
But this
Over your eyes because you're
Just-
really
Yep.
Put them in a
They're
freezer.
dry.
Wrap it
and
around
then
your
just come
finger
ice
for that
pack.
boo-boo.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you guys hurt my
Yeah.
feelings during this show, I'm gonna go get this wet and I'm probably gonna come back with it on my
With
finger.
it on your forehead.
Is that
Okay.
the new WD-40? It fixes everything?
Yes. In schools it actually does.
Look,
It
the
actually
government
does.
doesn't give us much to work with, so this is our magic.
We are very
wand.
resourceful. Okay. Yes. And we're getting comments here. Yes, it is a miracle. Absolutely
Mm-hmm.
it is. We should probably try to sell it and become millionaires.
Solves the world's problems.
Yes, we-
right there. Wet paper towel.
If we made them colored, I think we would end up like really, really
Right.
wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
All varieties
Can
of
you
colors.
imagine
Yeah.
like neon pink,
Oh my gosh, it'd be incredible.
like midnight blue?
Recycled.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it, people. This is the new money
May I?
for
May I?
teachers.
Yes.
You may.
Okay.
There has to be a special one for admin.
The paper towel headband.
Yeah.
You could just
yeah,
towards
right?
itself,
Just
right?
need it.
So for sure.
Oh,
We have a question in the chat room.
okay.
They want to know if the wet paper towel can be used as underwear.
Oh, good one.
We have not heard of that one yet, but
You know,
wouldn't
I
be
guess in a
jealous.
pinch, just add some rubber bands.
they are. There we go. All right.
We have one more.
Oh, we have another one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it says, "Hi, freeze them. Cheapest ice packs around."
There you go.
Oh,
if you
that's
have access
actually
to
genius.
a freezer.
Wait a minute,
Oh.
did you see her?
I did. I did.
Yes.
My sister's watching you all
Yay.
right.
That's
Absolutely,
actually a good
Sandy.
idea.
Sandy, you take these and you wet them and you freeze them and they last forever.
That's true.
I have
and
a
you can
freezer
say
in
to
my
the
room.
child, honey, take this home with
Yes. It's just
Yes.
for you. It's so
That's the most-
special. And then you'll be
Yes.
their favorite
It really
teacher. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of viewers
This went
and
off the rails pretty
Oh,
quick.
very
I
good.
know.
Yeah, very good. Get
chats.
some paper towels. We'll fix it.
Okay. And comments. We actually got some questions over the past couple of weeks sent to our Facebook page in Messenger. So we're going to go ahead and try to dive into one of those. And I'm going to have to warn you, it is a little bit juicy. Okay. So this person asked, Lisa, thank you for the question. How do you respectfully handle when colleagues' teaching philosophies clash? Okay. So that is our first question. We do have some research on that, but I don't know if our guest would like to chat that one up first.
I'd like to know what specifically or what are we disagreeing about? Teaching philosophies of what?
Mhm.
Are we having a difference of opinion of math? Are we having a difference of opinion of Common Core? What is the disagreement
Okay,
about?
so there were a couple of examples given. So one example was the importance of teaching concepts of math versus tips and tricks. Another example was differentiating for for students who are achieving at a higher level and need that extension. So what does that look like? And people tend to disagree. Those can actually be really hot button issues with teachers
Certainly.
in those subjects, especially, coming from elementary.
Oh gosh, you're
I'm
looking
gonna
at
look
me.
at you
I know,
and see,
I know.
and see how you handle it.
I mean, when I was thinking about this, I wasn't thinking in regards to like teaching tricks or tips in math or
Mhm.
teaching the conceptualness or the concept, but I was thinking like philosophy in regards to like in my classroom, I like to teach from an inquiry base, like curiosity, and it seems like it's very hard to do these days because like I have to teach programs which aren't connected to what I believe. So like for me, that clashes. And
So
it
yours
makes it
is-
really difficult to like enjoy it. Well, it's like almost like the fun of education is gone for me, right? Like somebody else is telling me every step.
Right.
And I've been in it a long time. I don't need somebody to tell me every step. I feel like I'm knowledgeable to be able to make those, choices for my kids in my classroom on my own.
Mm-hmm. And to like use your own creativity and kind of tailor things to the group of kids that you have. Like you have your certain standards that you're required to teach, right? Your legal, responsibilities or whatever.
Right.
But let me use my flair and what I know about this group of students to get that job done.
Yeah.
That's called, for me, that's autonomy within the teaching. And yes, we have programs that are provided to us, and there's no one given program that will cover everything in depth enough for every child within your classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where that autonomy needs to come in, where you can add to or delete from what is being provided to be able to reach all of those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in a disagreement of philosophy, I don't see that there's a problem with that, because exposing everybody to different ideas is great.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing the students in your classroom and knowing what needs to be taught, as long as the standards are met, and using a variety of tools, then that's the direction as an administrator I'd like to see my teachers go.
So let's dig a little deeper into that.
Oh, let's dig.
Let's dig. I'm gonna dig a little deeper.
Okay.
So let's just say, for sake of argument,
Let's say.
just to say that there's the school administration has decided that the program is the teaching tool, right? And that happens in a lot of schools where, they purchase programs and they're like, you're going to teach that with fidelity. I know that's a bad word. And you're going to, go through the steps. You're going to look at the manual. You're going to teach it as it is. You're going to assess it as it is. And this is how we're going to, grow our scores. And a lot of times you have teachers who are like Emily, who say, wait a second, I've been doing this a long time. I know how to grow my scores. But the rest of your colleagues may or may not have the same background and maybe can't do all of that. So how do you handle when you have one teacher really is capable of doing and performing, with or without a program, to use it as a guide tool, not the only tool.
Right.
And then you have some teachers who need that tool in order to be able to teach well. How do you bridge that as an administrator so that both feel valued and honored?
That for me is where our PLCs come in, our professional learning communities, where we talk about what it's going to take for the students to actually be successful. And then that's where we allow the teachers to have that autonomy to take those skills in the directions they need to go with their kids. Now, I truly believe that first year teacher, second year teacher needs the guide to follow. And our teachers that have been doing it for years don't need that guide, but still need to follow the standards as well as everybody else.
Mhm.
So, and I know it's different in every school, and I know it's different under every leadership, but the standards are what drives the instruction. And then, just like anything else, the program needs to be a tool, and you need to be able to use multiple tools to teach. And so that's the direction that I come from.
So I had John put up a graphic. This is called a PLC, Professional Learning Community. These are the official meetings that teachers have, usually weekly. And there are 4 questions that we should focus on. And for people who are driving in their car, listening to the glorious sound of our voices, the questions are, what do you want students to learn? How do we know if they have learned it? What will we do if they don't learn it? And what will we do if they already know it? Okay. So if we keep our conversations, our teacher meetings focused on those 4 questions, then that digs into exactly what Eileen was talking about, the standards, what we're required to teach, right? But then that leaves us the freedom to be who we are as teachers. And we're not necessarily dogging on programs, but it's the fact that oftentimes teachers are told, it doesn't matter what toolbox you have and the experience and education you have, this program knows best and you don't. So use this script and this program this way. And that's where it gets really frustrating for people who have been doing it a long time, right?
I know that when I started out teaching, the programs truly gave me that guide that I needed
Absolutely.
to see from point A to point Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then after several years of teaching and being able to follow that, those connections were made for me so that I could say, you know what, I really don't need to do this because they've got it. What I need to do is extend it and add something from another toolbox. And that, but that's needed in the beginning.
Right.
And no tool out there has everything you need. I don't care how much you pay for it. It's just not what is best for children 100%. So that word fidelity is not in my toolbox.
Right.
I think the only tool is the teacher, right?
I
We're
disagree
the ones
with you.
closest to.
Ooh, I told you it was going to be juicy.
Okay, so this is what I want to. So let me finish for that.
Yes.
So being in front of your kids, you are the one who's grasping all of the knowledge that they have, right? You are on the fly going, okay, this kid needs this. This kid needs this. That program isn't there doing that. We are, right? That's our craft. That's what we've mastered.
You
right?
used those words just now. That's what you've mastered.
Yes.
Okay. Our first, our second, our third year teachers have not mastered that yet.
So they do need, I'm not saying that they like, I think maybe I need to clarify more. If you've been in education long enough, right, that you've mastered that, right? I could say that at some point you don't need that, but that's where you have experienced teachers lifting up teachers who are there. Everybody needs a mentor, right? So, I mean, they need to be like conjoined, right? Like you need a program and a person.
100%.
Can we pull up picture 3, please, John? Because this kind of goes into something I wanted to talk about. So, slide 3. Yep. Okay. So, this is a little something that I made. You might want to copyright it. Okay.
Like it.
It kind of gets into what Emily and Aileen were talking about. So if you disagree during a PLC, think about the 4 questions, right? It's all about students and their learning. So pause for a minute as teachers. Are we disagreeing about a science of teaching issue? So for me, I classify that as the standards and kind of those developmentally appropriate practices that are oftentimes listed if you unwrap and dig into the standard, right? The certain strategies, things like that, concepts, certain things to avoid because they're not ready, like standard algorithm, things like that in math, depending on the grade level, the operation you're working on, whatever. Okay, so if it's a science of teaching issue, then go ahead and dig a little deeper. Unwrap that standard. Use a resource, something trustworthy, a strategist perhaps at your school. If it's an issue with extending learning, talk to your GATE strategist, right? But if it's an art of teaching issue, if it's your craft and what you feel comfortable with, and if you feel comfortable using the program's lesson, and some of those are phenomenal, right? We're not going to say anything bad about anybody, right? If it's an art of teaching issue, and you don't agree with that person's style of getting it done, that's not how you would do it in your room, but they're doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing, teaching the thing that they're supposed to be teaching, move on with your life. It is a non-issue at that point. So it seems simple, but it's not.
I want to take that one step further.
Yeah.
And that is,
Thank you, John.
and that is data. And, you know, when you look at data, everyone is teaching the standards, but not teaching it the same way.
Right.
And then you look at data and you find those teachers that have low scores. And that low score person happens to be a teacher who's been teaching for 25 years.
Right.
There's a problem.
Right.
Sure.
There's a problem there.
I agree
And
with
if that person is saying, I've been doing this forever, I know what I'm doing, I don't need a program, well, clearly you need something because the scores are so low.
Right.
And so you have to look at the data that goes with it. It can't just be, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You
Right.
have to be able to back that up. And that's why some
With
of
the
the
D word.
assessments that we do have to be looked at. We have to look at that data to be able to back up our words.
Okay. I would absolutely agree with that. I think that many times we in the education world tend to go by like opinions and feelings more than we do hard facts.
Hard facts.
And because teaching people is a thoughts and feelings kind of business, right? There's a lot of subjectivity in teaching and teaching children, but what we have to do when we're looking at our craft, right, our art of teaching is it effective, and how do we know whether or not it's effective? We use evidence, and the evidence is data, right? I understand in the back in the day, people were worried about, are the kids happy? Are they having fun? Right. Is it a happy world?
Yeah.
And
yes.
So, but that's not what we're looking at. That's not the data we're collecting. We're seeing, are they understanding the concepts well enough for the standards that we're teaching, right? And so that makes a big difference. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Right. It's huge. And then we did get a comment in the chat too. It also looking at the students in your room, looking at the big picture. The data is important, but it's not just one piece, right? We know the whole term with education is triangulate your data. So 3 pieces, right? Let's put that puzzle together. And I think it can be really hard in meetings with your colleagues when, you know, I think we've all experienced this at some point where you're the weak link, right? And it's a very humbling experience, and you have to have a group of people that you feel safe leaving your ego at the door with. And you go into it going, I want to do what's best for kids. So let's talk about it from that perspective, right? And there's actually some research out there on why are these meetings so hard sometimes? So Corwin Press has an article called Overcoming Challenges in PLC. And they said there are 2 big factors that can doom a meeting. Lack of structure. So people not understanding or having a set process for analyzing data, for analyzing student work, for even having a discussion, right? So it kind of just falls apart and feelings get hurt and people get grumpy or whatever. And then disengagement. It can be overwhelming at times to be in these meetings. And so it's easier to shut your mouth and let somebody else make the decisions. And you're just like, yeah, I'm done here. Yeah. We'll just do whatever. Yeah, that has been, I've been on both sides. I've been the big mouth, right? And then I've been the one that said nothing. Oh, I know what we used to call it at Bunker, hogs and logs. I'm not going to name the teachers that said that, but it's a great term. So you have those people that will do everything, all the talking, whatever, for whatever reason, right? Yeah. And then you have the people that are okay to just kind of
let everybody else do the work for them.
Yes. Yeah. And so we got to try to find that balance of everybody's kind of involved and feeling like their voice is heard.
Well, and I remember in that same article, they were talking about how because the meetings are short in length, right? So where I work, the meeting really lasts about 35 minutes because we get to go to the bathroom. Just want to say that. We get to go potty. And so 35 minutes, and we have to cover something that's pretty heavy, right? Yes. And that's a very short amount of time. Yeah. And so what the article was talking about is because these are finite meetings that don't go on and on and on, many times it's just faster and more efficient to let the hog, we'll call them, the person who likes to do all the talking. No, yeah, I did. Why would that be? Let's go there. But the hog will do all the talking. Everybody else will just watch. They'll all just agree. They'll just be amiable to whatever the hog says. And then they all walk out of the room. They go, I'm not doing that. They shut their door and they go do their own thing. And and overall, that's what the data was showing, was that teachers were agreeable in the meeting, but completely disagreeable outside of the meeting, where they're like, yeah, you can say that, and I'll give my 2 thumbs up. And then they walk out and they go, not doing it. But they're not saying that because they don't want to cause problems. They don't want to be seen as a troublemaker. But more importantly, they want the meeting to end, because these meetings are painful. At times they're really hard to be in, right? So instead of arguing with people, you just kind of like go with the flow, and then you do your own thing when you shut your door. And shutting the door and doing your own thing is a very old school idea, something that I think the PLC model was supposed to start removing out of schools. That was kind of one of those barriers that were supposed to be removed over time. And what we find is that because of the finiteness of those meetings, that probably has not happened.
Right.
Well, it's survival too, and it could be, sometimes the PLC can be the most stressful part of your day, because your colleagues are supposed to have your back and be your team and lift you up when you're feeling stressed, and then sometimes it can feel like you're not heard and people are at each other's throats and
Might
things
be more
like
like
that.
the lion's den than
Yes.
the lounge.
Hitting
Yes.
one person against another based on their data. Sometimes you feel like, oh, okay, well,
And that's
not the
And there's shame
how
in
it's
that
supposed
for
to be.
sure.
No.
news, but that's how
but
it
that's where
sometimes
as
feels.
a craft, as a someone who is reflective,
Right.
you need to be vulnerable, and you need to be able to say, wow, my kids didn't get it. What did you do?
Right.
And maybe I
Agreed.
can come and watch you. But we don't have enough of that out there. We
Yeah,
have too many
true.
people that are down on themselves when they see that data, instead of using that as a tool to benefit. And that's where, we teach the kids, I don't know it yet, or I haven't mastered it yet, where we as teachers need to do the same thing and say, I haven't mastered that yet. What did you do? Help me understand that,
For sure.
instead of that negative piece.
John, can you put up picture 2, please?
Oh gosh, I feel like I've hit some nails, and
No,
every
it's
time
really
I
good.
speak
No,
up,
it's
you,
so
you have
good,
another.
because this is stuff we wanted
But you
to talk
just
about.
Look at you right
just-
into the
I
flow.
know, I know.
Did you already see this?
I know.
No,
It's like you already
yeah.
saw the slideshow. Okay, but she didn't, people. She didn't. Okay,
No.
so according to Leadership for Learning,
Ooh.
there's an article called
Wow.
"Respectful Disagreement," and we can have a politeness problem where, like Christy was saying, we nod in agreement, and then we go back to our rooms and do what we think is best. So then we're isolated, or we only have a peep with us. That's it, one
Right.
other teacher or whatever.
Can I say something
Yes.
though? So if your administrators are in those PLCs and then go in and observe in the classrooms, which we do, we go in and we observe what's going on. I know when I have a teacher who just nods their head and then does their own thing.
Mhm.
And then the post conference is where that comes out. And that's where administration should be really delving into, why are you not participating, and trying to mend that. So depending on the school, depending on your administrators, depending on your staff, and how involved they are in truly making things work and do it the right way, you see a difference.
Well, and that's one of the strategies that they talked about in the article, is it's a key point for leadership to jump in and model and foster that safe environment where people can share ideas. They model how to respectfully disagree and have an open forum of people sharing things that are working and not working, rather than that harsh judgment or the shame or certain people kind of telling everybody else what to do.
Yeah.
Because it is hard also for adults to work in a cooperative group and to kind of work towards the same goal and let go of some things that maybe were important to them or whatever. So I'm sorry, Lisa, we don't have a complete answer for you, because it is very, very challenging.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we brought up some good points here as far as looking at what are we all required to do, right? Standards, meet the needs of our kids, have some freedom and how that looks as far as how you're going to implement that lesson. And then admin coming in and being supportive. And one of our favorite administrators used to say, it's a soft landing, right? We come to school to learn. The kids come to school to learn and make mistakes and do hard things. And sometimes teachers need that same grace as well, right? And I think that would really help all of us. All right, so it's 5:30 and I'm getting the signal for a break. But first, John, can you put up slide number 4 or picture number 4 before we go on our break? Because we'll be right back. So if you're if you don't look like this by the end of a PLC, you did not do it right. I'm sorry. Okay? All right, we'll see you in like 30 seconds. 184 days teaching truth. We'll be back.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronzauer.vegas and book me for your next event or training needs. Hi everybody, Aaron Phillips here, inviting you to join me every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. right here on Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV on my show, Aaron Zauer with Aaron Phillips. I bring to you the movers and shakers of Las Vegas and really all around the world. It's also fun, entertaining, silly, goofy, informative, everything you'd want to be entertained by on a Saturday, except no politics, no religion. As I said, it's designed to be a fun show. Remember, that's every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, right here, Aaron Zauer, Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV.
Welcome back to 184 Days Teaching Truths. I'm Christy.
I'm Carrie, and I'm supposed to give you the phone number. 702-992-3207.
Only now say it in the microphone.
Oh, hi. Hi, it's me. 702-992-3207. Call us.
Let's reintroduce our fabulous guest today. This is Eileen, and she is an administrator. And this is Emily, and she's a second grade teacher. And we're delving into some, as Carrie likes to say, juicy topics. And this next one, it doesn't disappoint.
Oh, no, not at all. John, can you please put up picture number 5?
Carrie's on a roll this week. Just want to point
I
that
know.
out.
Seriously,
I love it.
I had my energy shot. Okay, so now, as if a stressful PLC isn't enough, now you ran out of time to go to the bathroom. So, the story of my life. I need to pee, but I can't leave my class unsupervised. A teacher's autobiography. Yes.
It is so true.
The daily dilemma, to pee or not to pee, as Christy says.
That's right.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that right now because I'm going to tell you, and I think people here would agree, it's a big fat problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So we're going to play a little game. Okay.
Can you excuse me? I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Can you wait?
Okay.
I'll hold it.
Can you hold it?
All right. So each of you take a card, but don't point it towards the camera. Don't let the camera see it.
Do
okay?
you want me to take a
Yes,
card
take
too?
a card.
This
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
I'll take that one then.
Okay.
I don't know what it
All right.
says, so
So,
do we get to look at our card?
oh, you can look at your card. Yeah. Just make sure and make sure it's not upside down because I'm going to ask you some questions in a moment. Okay.
Okay.
So, some of these questions are actually really boring, and this article is really boring. But we try to do what teachers do and make it interesting. So, it's from reviews on environmental health, and they found that teachers, I know you're gonna be shocked to hear this, don't use the bathroom frequently enough during the day. They ration how much water they take in, and they found that evidence in this kind of working condition links itself to kidney health risks later in life. So we're gonna play a Q&A game. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.
True.
So, is access to toilets restricted most of the time at your workplace? No. Okay. Okay.
What do you mean by restricted?
Well,
Give me
are
a-
you allowed to go freely? Can you pee freely when you need to?
Oh, no.
When you feel the urge, are you allowed to just go, excuse me, I'll be right back? No. Okay. Is time to drink the desired amount of water restricted most of the time? So do you drink as much water as you would like, or is it restricted?
Restricted.
Restricted. Okay. Sometimes.
And
have a
so can we
drinking fountain
hold
in
on
my
a second?
You have a drinking fountain? Do you drink from the drinking fountain in your room?
Kids
Oh,
drink
oh,
from there.
oh.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so-
Now-
Okay.
I guess
wait
the
a
kids
second.
can.
I want to talk about that for just a second
Okay.
because it's not enough just to say, you drink enough at any given time.
Mhm.
So teachers, we do a little math with the water,
Oh.
right? I want to show my water bottle. We do a little math with the water bottle. And on the water bottle, it says, where you're at during the time of day. Well,
Jan, I agree.
you have got to make sure that, like, if you're looking at what time is my prep period and what time is my lunch, that will like tell you how much you can drink of this bottle at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I don't have lunch until late and my prep's even later, there's like that much gone before 12 o'clock. And then between like 1 and 3, I might down that much because that's okay. I'm able to go to the bathroom, but ultimately, well, my goal is to drink the whole thing. That rarely ever happens. I'm halfway, and that's it.
And
That's
it's
what I got.
5:30 at night.
And so, but that's what we do. Like you have to know how much you can drink at any given time in order to know how badly you have to go.
Don't they have that same problem at Amazon?
I don't know. I don't work at Amazon.
I've heard that there are definitely some conditions there that are questionable, but this is an informed show, and I've only heard that. I have not done my own research,
Right,
so
thank you.
I'm not
Based in
going
facts.
to say yes or no.
I'll testify.
Okay. We hear you back there, John. We hear that you need to go sometimes and you can't go. I will say it's not just teachers. Can we point that out too? That in other professions such as nursing, that is a very common problem as well, that they don't get to use the restroom in a timely fashion or drink enough water. So, and that definitely causes them some problems too.
Yeah. So, I was going to ask you one more question. Is your work sometimes performed in a hot environment?
I work in a Brigham yoga studio.
People pay big money to go to those places.
I know, and I really wish I could start charging for my classroom because it may be like cold, rainy, wet outside, and I could wear short sleeves and shorts in my classroom because frequently it's over 80 degrees, and I am in there sweating bullets on some days. It's hot,
right?
So. But that also could be during the summer. It's hot because then the AC doesn't work. So there's never really a time where my room is cold.
Yeah. So school buildings and the great state that they are in will be another topic. So you definitely want to tune in another day. That was it for the game. But I do have some. We do have some.
To use mine.
You did say sometimes. And you said no sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're okay. I think people got the gist.
Can I keep this for the rest of the questions, just in case I
Just in
can
case
say
something comes
no?
up, yes. So, it is actually an issue with teachers having to limit the amount of liquid that they drink during the day.
And I noticed that Jan said it is a devastating issue when you have to ration the coffee. And especially when you've bought like Dutch Brothers or Starbucks and it got cold. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you spend $5 on that cup of coffee and you're like, yeah, I can't drink it all because I can't go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it is a sad day.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
So no, we can't just go.
So buy teachers gift cards, people.
And they'll use them on their breaks because they can't drink
Admin
stuff
too.
during
You can
the
buy
week.
admin gift cards.
Sorry about
My
that.
New
gift
Year's
cards
resolution can never be to drink more water.
Right.
It just can't be. It's
It's impossible. Happen. Yeah, I know. And it's like so. Oh yes, John.
Is it possible to get the email addresses of all of your students' parents?
No.
If you will forward those to me, I will send all of these shows to all of those parents, including the school board.
Oh wow!
Please,
and the answer is a hard no.
Cover your phrases.
Hard no.
Right
That's
but you can send to the school board anytime
you want. We have some FERPA rules there that would be in high violation. Sure. So.
Yeah. And it's super awkward when you're having an emergency situation and you have to grab somebody walking by in the hall or you call down the office and then you apologize.
Yeah.
Why are you apologizing? It's just a bodily function. And it's also so embarrassing that everybody in the room knows. And then the kids are wondering, is she going 1 or 2? Like, what? I just need to do this without people paying any attention to me. It is just a really weird environment to be in when you're a teacher. There's a certain lack of privacy, I feel like.
I want to add on there was what Sue was saying. She says, on top of to pee or not to pee problem, there might be a lack of toilets for the grown-ups. In some schools, there's 2 bathrooms for 70 people who are grown-ups.
That's my school.
Yeah, well, you're not alone.
And people have to walk all the way out from another building.
I was just going to say
do they walk
that.
like a penguin sometimes? Are they all hunched over ooh?
Probably.
I was going to say that if you're at the far end of the building and the adult restroom is at the front end of the building, you don't stop at the kids' restrooms. You go to the adult restroom. That's just part of it. But it's a distance. So you need to make sure that you have enough time that you're not going to pee in your pants and need a pair of underwear from the health office. Just
Hold that paper towel.
Seriously.
Pulling it all around. There we
listen,
go.
dry
Like it.
paper towel will work.
Did I not say at the beginning of the show, teachers also need to bring a change of clothes because you never know what can happen.
That's true.
And also, people designing these school buildings, hello, you need to visit during the day and see the trouble we go through. Why would you make it so that there's only 1 or 2 adult bathrooms? There are a lot of people that work there. There needs to be one every few feet. Jeez.
Imagine being in a portable.
Yes,
Yeah.
consult us, please. We will let you know what needs to be done.
You know, like the kindergarten rooms they have now with like the bathroom. They need to like do that between 2 classrooms. Just have an adult bathroom.
An adult bathroom.
Yes.
And we can just go right there. I
Oh my
mean, why
gosh.
not?
Can I please tell a
True.
funny
Fact.
story?
Fact.
Good,
That's
right?
a good one. High five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't leave her hanging.
That's a
That would have
good
been
one.
weird. Can I tell a funny
With
story?
one-way glass so you can watch the kids.
Oh no! That is
No,
stuff
John.
of nightmares. That's like a
Bridge.
reoccurring nightmare.
Bridge too far.
Right there.
You've
Too far.
just crossed the line.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, so can I please?
No, so that you can see out.
No, I know
We
you meant.
know.
No, I know, but I still have a reoccurring
Thank
nightmare
you.
about showing up to school without my pants on. So I always have it right before school starts up again at the end of summer. Okay, so funny story about kindergarten potties. Can I please tell one?
Oh,
Please
yes, go.
do.
Okay. So back when I taught kindergarten, I was pregnant with my second child and, very massively pregnant. And I really, really had to go. And I was way in the forgotten wing of kindergarten, which is basically like on its own island. And I had a whole bunch of kindergartners, and obviously pregnant bladder does not have a lot of time or room, and I had to go. So I had to go into the kindergarten potty, which is like this tall, and then I had to like position myself over it and hope that I made it in the
Hope you
right
make
spot, didn't fall out. Anyway, I came back into my room. My kids were really good, and my principal was in there getting ready to do an observation.
Oh,
And I was
how
like,
funny.
I'm so sorry, but I just really had to go. And she's like, no, you're fine. Because, what are you going to say to a
Right.
pregnant lady? These are the trials and tribulations of teachers. It's in the autobiography. You need to read it. My gosh.
I can say that easily 4 or 5 times a day am I snatched out of the hallway to cover a classroom so that the teacher can go to the restroom.
Mhm.
A lot of the ones out in the portables, they will text me and say, "Come now." And yes, and I will run out to the portables just because I know what it's like.
Mhm.
Yes, I have access to the bathroom whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And I will cover anyone's need to go to the restroom because it is a true problem
Mhm.
that we battle.
You need to tell your story about the time you were in the portable and you had to wait.
Yeah, so that one's fun. I was just thinking about that. I'm
You
like,
need-
I gotta tell
you
that
need to tell
story.
that one.
So, we used to call the portables at our former school the beachside bungalows. By the way, we don't live anywhere near the beach. And so it was all of first grade out, like as far as you could be, literally as far as
slums.
you could be
The slums.
from the bathroom for the children and the teachers. So I'm out there and I'm like, gosh, you know what? Didn't plan it right. Didn't plan the bottle right. And I call the front office. I'm like, look, I'm going to need somebody to come out here. And by the way, it's a 3-minute walk just from the front office to my room. So I knew, I'm like, I'm on borrowed time. So I call and I'm like, hey, I'm going to need somebody to come out here. Please, soon, hurry. And 15 minutes later, I'm calling again going, I am going to pee my pants. Where are you? Oh, we're sorry. We forgot. I was like crossing my legs. I had to basically cross my legs and walk. The 3 minutes. I did not make it to the grown-up potties. I did not. Because
In those instances, you go to the first
potty,
available
and I
restroom.
did. As
It's an
disgusting as
emergency,
that
People or
was,
not,
as disgusting
you
as
go.
that was, that's where I was at. Because come on, people. There, after 15 minutes, I'm like, oh man, that was painful.
And I feel bad about that. But when you call the office and parents are coming in and the phones are ringing, it does get busy and we do forget.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why they text me or they'll call into my office and they'll just
Yeah,
let me
I
know.
didn't have the pleasure of having
John,
that
can you put up
administrator's
6, please?
phone
6?
number.
Hopefully it works. Thank you.
No, it's just.
That's why
a
you should have
still.
come to my
Oh, never
school.
mind then.
Yeah. 'cause
Okay.
Just saying.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. That's
Just
okay.
saying.
Tell them what it is.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody remembers the clip from Anchorman when Ron Burgundy, I think he's late to the studio or whatever, and this is Christy right here, or anybody
Oh my god.
running to the bathroom, and then you just push people out of your way, you know, because you're so desperate. It is a true story. Okay. All right, and then can we put up slide or picture 7, please, if you don't mind? So this is a silly little sign that I made for myself and my peep across the hall because we're in middle school and we have 3 minutes of passing. And sometimes we have a block schedule, so we have big chunks of time. And we were trying to get each other's attention across the crowded hallway. We're in the 7th grade building. And everybody transitions at the same time. So it was like a sea of 7th graders, and we're like waving into each other and trying to yell over the crowd, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Hey, I'm going to go. And I'm like, okay, this isn't working.
Right.
So I made us these, that's my Bitmoji, and she has hers. I made these hot pink signs that are laminated too, because it's special when it's laminated. And we don't even have to say anything to each other. We just hang it with our magnets outside of our door, close our door, and our students know when the door is closed, the teacher is somewhere that is not in the room, so chillax and stand in a line, okay? And then here we come, zooming around the hallway, around the corner, and good to go. So, we have to have those strategies to survive the day, because it is actually serious. I know we've been laughing about it. Thank you, John, for that.
I want to know who laminated that.
I have my own personal laminator.
Oh,
I take
okay.
lamination very
Don't
seriously.
all teachers?
Okay.
Yes.
Laminating 101.
I could have told you that.
Well, I had to ask simply because, there's a possibility that if you ask for it to be laminated, it could take 6 weeks before you get it.
That's why I have my own laminator.
So,
This is
yeah.
why
That's why we
teachers
all
buy their
purchase them, right?
own.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I
So-
have the nice thick lamination too.
So, Gunt,
the good
you
stuff,
used
yeah.
GoFundMe to make sure that you had enough laminate
No.
stuff. No.
Well, this comes out of
I am
personal
GoFundMe.
pockets.
I am me.
Right,
That is
right.
me. This is what I do.
You should say it's not GoFundMe. It's
It's
iFundMe.
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 Yes,
There
there we go.
For every teacher out there.
So actually, there is a syndrome called infrequent voiders syndrome. So
Oh.
that's exactly what we've been talking about, and it's a variety of things. So you are purposely restricting the intake of fluids. You are limiting, which then limits, why you would have to leave and go to the bathroom, right? But you also don't have access to the bathroom. And then on top of it, if you work in a hot or dry environment, right? So you can have a higher
We
chance
have
of
both of
kidney
those.
stones, UTIs, renal disease, all kinds of things in the future. And they're finding that teachers actually
Don't have the healthcare to pay for it?
have a higher percentage. Ooh,
But
that's a burn.
That's another topic.
Have a higher percentage of these issues later in life. So I'm like, and I'm actually concerned, like when I was doing the research, because being in my mid 40s, right? I'm going, okay, so I have however many years I decide left in teaching.
Don't worry, you have it to look forward to.
Right.
I
Like
thought you were
when is
thinking about
that shoe going to drop? When I'm going to go to the doctor and that person's going to go, well,
You
did
didn't
you
drink
do
water.
these things?
Yeah,
Did you
right.
do these things? Oh, well, there you go. You did this to yourself.
Right.
So yeah, we need to come up with a better plan for that.
So I have a question that goes along with this.
Wait, I don't have a card.
Here, do you want mine?
I feel like very left out. Everybody.
I would
Eileen's
like to
card.
know, what is your solution for allowing or having the teachers have the ability to go use the restroom and make sure that students are supervised? So what?
Yes.
No. It wasn't a yes/no question, because it is something that can't be solved until there is that conversation of what kind of solutions are out there for that to happen.
So here's a thought, and I'm going to put it out there, and it may or may not work.
Please put it
Thank
out
you.
there.
An
I'm gonna put it
audience,
out
give
there.
us a solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solutions, please.
So one of the solutions can be looking at the time periods between when a teacher starts with their class and has to work, for how long. Like I can tell you on Fridays, I have my last chance to use the restroom is at like basically 11:50, and I can't use the bathroom again until 3:35. And that is when you look at my schedule, you're thinking, how is that possible that you don't have a break with the kids for 3.5 hours? And yet that's how it is for me every Friday. Right. And so that's a really tough day. And I usually have to like rely on my neighbors or someone else to let me use the bathroom, at least in between that time. Right. So maybe taking a look at the schedule and going, how long are we asking teachers to hold it and not be able to drink fluids in order to get to the next part where they can? I feel like that's something that's in our control to look at the schedules and say, is that a reasonable ask of a teacher or not?
And I have to be honest, I have never looked at that when I've done my scheduling and my planning.
Yeah.
I have not even considered that. And that is something that is easily looked at when we're building those schedules.
I think we could just go with like the lockdown porta potty, right?
We do have the buckets.
So I mean a bucket
Hey, wait
and
a
a
second.
pocket chart, and you're good.
I mean, what else do you need?
Right? Strategically move some shelves around.
Put a bunch of these in your room.
You're good.
You'll be clean.
You could get your laminated pink card that says "Privacy, please."
Yes,
or
please.
something.
I could just laminate sheets of butcher paper.
Oh my Lord.
Yes. I'm going to innovate
This is
a
done.
little toilet
We're
room.
talking about going into the toilet.
I love these solutions.
Yes, we are
Love
creative,
them.
innovative
Love
people, resourceful teachers. Yes, John.
I know this is kind of a long shot,
Right.
but is it even feasible to have like a substitute or somebody like that is on call for the school?
We don't have enough substitutes to cover classes as it is.
Okay.
But we're gonna let you know, John.
Then the second part of that is we used to have hall monitors or kids that were rat banks, that
They
well,
do
couldn't
middle
you
school.
designate one kid in your class to be your designated monitor for 5 or 10 minutes?
No.
So I'm going to tell you that did happen in like the late 1800s where the teacher
Wait. That also happened in the 50s and 60s, sweetheart.
So the late 1800s, John, where teachers.
I remember that.
I don't trust any of my 8-year-olds.
It's putting a 7-year-old in charge could be a little dicey. But no, there's liability issues there, right?
Mhm.
So
Thank you.
we do have these days in 2024.
Yes, Stephanie, I agree for sure. They just need to they need to have a hiring event for any school district, and it's called like Potty Patrol, and your only job is to go from room
That's
to room
awesome.
very discreetly and politely and be like, and like you just hold up like a roll of toilet paper and you're like, does
We can
anybody
get
in here
pair
need to go
volunteers that
whatever.
like need something to do.
help us out?
Right,
And we
like
just
Potty
slip
Patrol, I
out
love
and
it.
then we slip back in and then we move it along.
I almost think, we
Crossing guards.
Yes. Yes.
Letters crossed.
Absolutely. So expand it from
we
crossing guards.
We do Jeans Day coupons, and our teachers love to get free Jean Day coupons because we don't do jeans except for Fridays. I think I need to give out free potty
Mhm.
passes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. Whoever had that up there, John, you had put that one up. I love that idea. I want to thank you because I will.
That's to the Sunshine Community.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. You don't need to pay triple. If you're watching from my school, I don't know if anybody is. And if you're not, tough luck. But you'll be getting some free potty passes along with some free Jean Day coupons
Here you
to
go,
use in
Eileen.
the next 5 years since
This
I'll
is
be
for you, Eileen.
retiring.
Yes, potty
I
patrol
can't read
for
what that says.
It says-
retrieval.
Okay.
Yes.
It said admin should get a grant to hire someone who is a designated potty person. They
Right?
can roam the halls waiting to be called in on an emergency.
Wow.
Give them a
Just think
pager.
about the amount
Put that
of
in my
times we
budget,
could go
please.
pee.
Yes.
I mean, they could
Oh
just
my
give them a
gosh.
schedule too. You're in second grade during this time.
and you just
then
like
you go to first
think of
grade
all the
and ask-
steps they would get in. I would
I mean,
retire and do that job. I
that'd
would
be-
get so much exercise in a day.
I would do that job.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say in middle school we do have campus security monitors, which are adults. But then you always feel guilty bothering somebody who has another job to do. Hey, come stand in my room because I couldn't manage my water intake today. That's what I feel like I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then I feel like a big flake and like I'm out of control, which is terrible.
You're irresponsible.
Yes, how dare
How
you?
dare you? Yeah,
yes,
right?
I know.
There you go.
Having a kidney stone on top of all of
Yeah,
Right.
Oh, wah.
I know. Oh my gosh, are we still talking
I
about
don't.
that?
I don't know if you saw the comment that
Just
said
kidding.
potty patrol for credit retrieval?
Absolutely.
That is hilarious. Yes.
Yes.
And should be for those extra credit duties for sure, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We are
For the number.
changing the face of education right here.
So Carrie had said something about the buckets. So once upon a time in a school that will be unnamed, we did
But
have.
I accidentally said the name earlier.
Yeah, well, we'll try and keep that on the down low. So our principal had decided that because like we had to keep the doors locked, right? Now you can't just go ask everybody, hey, can you stand in my doorway and while I go to the bathroom, because everybody's doors locked because of safety concerns. So she bought buckets from like Home Depot.
The
And
orange buckets.
so Carrie's idea and Emily's idea was really coming around so that you could have like be right back, privacy please. You could have your little poster up and then you could use the bathroom back there in case of emergency. So I do have to say that did actually, we all ended up with buckets. Now, granted, did anybody use those? Probably not. No. They weren't used more as seats than they were as toilets. But gotta say, it was a good idea for sure, Like
My school this year has the orange buckets, and I was given them 2 black trash bags. I don't know why I was given 2. How many times you're expecting us to do this? But yes.
I-
It's an emergency.
For number one,
Double-
number
double-
two.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
Double bag.
yeah.
I'm about the double bag.
I
we
know we're all laughing about this,
Mhm.
but this is probably one of the saddest things I have ever heard. And I'm absolutely serious. I mean, just for you guys to put up with that crap and still try to teach our kids,
Right.
it is just phenomenal. And I'm going to go beat the shit out of some people.
Well, that's good because then they don't have to go.
So we have.
You got it.
Then there won't be a line in the bathroom there.
No.
Okay, so we only have a couple minutes left, but I want to get back to Aileen's question. So she said, well, okay, so yeah, we're kind of laughing about the problem and admiring the problem, I guess is a phrase that's been used before. Maybe not on the show, but I've heard it at my other school. But anyway, one solution I have is for the future of schools to, the planning, put an adult bathroom in every hallway. So a teacher doesn't have to go across campus, it just has to be right there. So better planning in that situation. And then,
family bathroom, right?
right. And then obviously having staff that maybe has some, I don't want to say free time because nobody really does, but is there marginal time built in somewhere where they could go check on pods of teachers and say, hey, do you need to go right now? And no, we don't need another interruption because we talked about that before. It's not about that, but some kind of like seamless, discrete system where people are able to deal with this need and then come back.
Card out. It's got to be a card outside your door, right?
Oh, I was
Someone's
gonna
doing
say.
it.
Yes.
You go change it to red.
Right.
For sure.
And now I
Please
know I
come
need
see
to go.
me.
I'm
I
good,
need
right?
something.
Well,
Green,
Good
so it's-
idea. I like
Before
just
we
the
end
visual.
today, I know that there were some other topics we were going to talk about. Teachers don't just suffer from the lack of going to the bathroom. We also have some musculoskeletal injuries from bending
What was that
over.
It's a lot of syllables.
Muscular.
Musculo.
A lot of
Muscle and
muscles.
skeletal stuff.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for my multi-syllabic decoding.
Why we carry it.
I know, right? So a lot of us, because we're bending over a lot, we're hunched over. We have some, lower back issues. I know we're not the only ones, but that's very frequent for teachers. And also, we are more susceptible to those communicable diseases. I can't say my multisyllabic words today. And so, whether it be the flu, strep throat, COVID, you name it, like teachers are exposed more than anyone else. And I know that was a hot button issue a few years ago, but truly, that is something that we deal with as well. So even though we're talking most about the potty, we do have some other health risks that seem to permeate our profession.
And then sleep disorders, which won't get any better now because John mentioned the one-way or two-way glass or whatever in the bathroom.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah. So to end this, can we pull up picture 8, please? This kind of fits in because, yes, we have some massive teaching nightmares. So, friend, you look tired. Me, I'm a teacher. I'm pretty sure that's just how my face is now. All right. Thank you for joining us today. 184 Days Teaching Truths.
Thank you guys for
Thank
having
you
me.
guys for
Thanks
having
for
us.
coming. This was
Emily
so
and
fun.
Eileen. We'd love to have you back for another chat another time. So
Yeah.
Thank
please
you.
return.
All right.
I'll be there if you ask me.
See you, everybody.
All right.